Hey everyone, today's a super exciting day where we're going to be checking out the Finch West LRT, or Line 6 in Northwest Toronto, which opened earlier this morning. My first video with a voiceover for this channel was for this project, and almost 4 years later, it's opening day, so I've definitely been covering its progress through a lot of stages, and it's nice to see the line up and running. Today we'll be covering the project, opening service, and operational challenges, which will hopefully be sorted out soon. Linking Humber Polytechnic College to the existing subway network and replacing Toronto's 6th busiest bus corridor, Line 6 will serve at least 40,000 riders at launch, although projections are much higher than just those who use the existing bus service. The 36 Finch West, which currently operates along the same corridor, is consistently crush-loaded and especially during heavy traffic times can get slowed down quite a bit, leading to unreliability. The Finch West LRT spans a total of 11 kilometers with 16 surface-level stops, an underground terminus at Finch West Station, and a below-grade station near Humber Polytechnic's North Campus. The project also included the construction of bike lanes along the entire corridor, except near Highway 400 where a multi-use path was built instead. Construction of the $2.5 billion project began in 2018 with a projected opening in 2023. Before contracts had been awarded, the goal was for Line 6 to open in 2021. However, the project isn't too far off of its 2023 goal compared to other Canadian transit projects which have experienced similar delays. Major construction was completed last fall with minor deficiencies sorted out since then. Fleet testing began in 2022 on a short section of completed track, while construction continued and training of the TTC operators began this spring. The project's revenue service demonstration began not long after, running between September 20 and late October, and reaching substantial completion shortly after that. Operations of the line were completely handed over to the TTC in early November, and the opening date was announced by them a mere 2 weeks prior to today. Starting today, Line 6 is being soft launched to allow for further testing and integration of the line. Due to the soft launch, service will operate for limited times of the day between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. Monday to Saturday, and 7:30 to 10 p.m. on Sundays. The early closures are meant to give Mosaic Transit Group, the project's maintenance provider, extra time to fine-tune maintenance, one of the recommendations after challenges with the Ottawa LRT. I'm glad the first trains on Sundays begin service at 7:30, much earlier than a lot of the existing subway network, but keep in mind that the first eastbound trains aren't until 8:30 at some stops. What I'm not so thrilled about, however, is the rush hour frequencies, which will be roughly every 6 minutes during peak times, and off-peak frequencies will be just under every 13 minutes by 7:30 p.m., with every 10-minute frequencies by 6 p.m., which isn't even very late in the day. Even if this is only for the soft launch, it's a downgrade in frequency for riders who currently use the much more frequent 36 bus. With most stops spaced every 500 to 600 meters, and the closest stop pair being only 300 meters apart, Line 6 replaces all but 6 of the existing bus stops on the 36. Unlike Toronto subways, which have consistently longer stop spacings, the majority of bus riders won't have to walk any farther to catch the train. Finch West Station will provide an underground connection between Line 1 and Line 6, linking the existing station concourse to the Line 6 platforms with a new tunnel. A third entrance building for the station was also built on the southeast corner of the intersection at Finch and Keele. Line 6 riders connecting to the buses will need to go through the short tunnel to the existing concourse and walk to this north station site and bus terminal. Humber College Station serves the North Campus for Humber Polytechnic, formerly known as Humber College. Etobicoke General Hospital is also directly across the street from the station. 2 entrances serve the station on the north and south ends, and are kept fairly simple with fare gates, presto machines, and elevators. At platform level, the station is designed much like surface stops that use the same island platforms, with the same shelters constructed here as well. The existing bus terminal on campus is a couple hundred meters away from the Line 6 station entrance. Luckily, the walk is partially protected by the same shelters used at surface stops. With extensions of Line 6 bound to happen along Highway 27 to Woodbine Go and possibly Pearson Airport, diverting the line closer to campus would have made this much more challenging to build. All 16 surface stops are fairly similar, ignoring the variations between island platforms and side platforms. Every surface stop features presto readers at the platform entrance. Just like GO trains, there aren't any fare gates, but you still need to tap on before getting on board. Seating, assistance intercoms, and next train displays are also available. Ticket machines are also installed for riders who don't have a presto card. The shelters are pretty bare bones, offering limited protection from the elements, especially unfortunate considering the very low frequencies. The line also uses the wayfinding standard produced by Metrolinx, which means the bilingual signage and icons which vary from the rest of the TTC network. 3 days before the line's opening, most signage frames at stations were still empty, but were replaced by opening day. Line 6 also seems to be going through lots of wayfinding changes. First, the stop poles were replaced with an updated design, and now the station names and Metrolinx T-roundels, which used to be on the surface stop shelters, have seemingly been removed. The removal doesn't make a whole lot of sense, seeing as it was a clear indication of the station name, but recognizing the stops is still quite easy. A major concern around the launch of the line is the scheduled travel time released by the TTC, showing a 46-minute runtime from end to end, a 12-minute increase from the project estimates used by Metrolinx of 34 minutes. I rode the 36 earlier this week at the start of the morning rush hour, and a counter-peak trip takes about 35 minutes in low traffic, including the extra distance to Humber College Terminal and out of the bus terminal at Finch West Station. In the peak direction, the trip was only 3 minutes slower, taking 38 minutes. The evening rush hour tends to be much slower, with some trips taking up to an hour. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to test that out, but the amount of bus trips well under the Line 6 travel time, while still being crowded, means a significant amount of riders will see longer commutes at launch. It's also worth noting that my buses were easily passing LRVs. One of the main contributors to the slow speeds is the lack of active transit signal priority along the route. Transit signals on Finch have been programmed to extend a green light for 10 seconds if the approaching tram is behind schedule, but ideally, a train in its own right-of-way shouldn't be behind schedule in the first place, so the chances of an LRV being able to take advantage of the extra 10 seconds are very slim. To allow LRVs to clear intersections, transit signals turn red 10 seconds before general traffic. In practice, operators end up stopping at yellow lights, while buses, cars, and pedestrians keep moving, waiting close to 90 seconds at each intersection with a red light. An easy defense would be that full transit signal priority wouldn't work on Finch because the large roads are designed for private vehicles, and some of the busiest north-south bus routes also cross Finch. My counter-argument would be that Waterloo's Ion, opened in 2019 within the Greater Toronto Area, rarely stops at red lights, even at intersections just like those on Finch, because trains carrying up to 300 people shouldn't be waiting for private vehicles. Signals in Waterloo also have a dedicated transit phase, which is much shorter to minimize the impacts on other road users while still putting transit first. Even the signalized crosswalk east of Tobermory forces approaching trams to stop. This is the easiest light for implementing actual signal priority because traffic wouldn't be backed up by ensuring Line 6 never stops here. Another potential slowdown is simply the TTC's more cautious operations. Looking back at initial testing done by the contract team, LRVs were flying past even while construction was still ongoing and transit signals hadn't even been installed yet. Comparing the exact same locations, the speed difference between operators is really noticeable. During operations today, some trains, including mine, were taking closer to 50 minutes to complete the journey. Average speeds were 18 km per hour without stopping time and 13 km per hour including stops. While we did hit a top speed of 59 km per hour in one short section, the line rarely goes above 35 km an hour, and especially in the 600-meter trench along Highway 27, we were only able to go up to 10 km per hour. My hope is that once the soft launch ends in the spring, operators will have gotten familiarized with the line and the TTC will find efficiencies to reduce travel times. With longer travel times, it doesn't seem like the fleet is large enough to consistently operate at higher frequencies. Ideally, once speeds are increased, the same number of trains would provide more frequent service, solving two issues at once. If you're wondering what separates Line 6 from existing TTC streetcars which run in dedicated right-of-ways with similar speeds, service levels, and vehicles, the short answer is not much. The best difference is level boarding. Streetcar platforms unfortunately don't match the height of streetcars and still need a ramp to be deployed, whereas the Finch West LRT platforms actually meet the tram floor. Off-peak frequencies on Line 6 are worse than those on the existing streetcar network, but hopefully that changes in the spring. The average speed of streetcars is just over 11 kilometers compared to Line 6, which operates at just under 14 kilometers an hour, including time spent at stops. Even the underground terminus stations aren't all that unique, considering the streetcar has 4 underground stations along a few routes. Line 6 is mostly the minimum of what a streetcar built today should look like. I'm still hoping frequencies get better, and full transit signal priority needs to be implemented for the full value of this project to truly be achieved. Also taking place today is the renaming of 2 stations on the subway network. Eglinton West Station has become Cedarvale as part of Line 5, and Dundas Station has become TMU, which was paid for by the university. These changes were undergone now as the TTC is to overhaul all of their signage, so it's most cost effective to print new signage now with all of the changes. This also involves new maps on the subways and subway stations, which make the network look a lot more significant. Opening day had the issues you might expect, like next train displays clearly not linked to the live feed, and doors opening on the wrong side. But there were already delays before 8 a.m., and by around 9 a.m., a mechanical issue halted service for a few minutes, resulting in a huge bunching and a long gap in service. One of the doors at the Humber College Station entrance was also never unlocked, so hopefully someone starts unlocking that in the future. As the TTC prepares to open Line 5 in the new year, I seriously hope they plan the openings better. The line outside the entrance today wasn't controlled by the numerous special constables on site, leading to a surge of people trying to squeeze through the door, which definitely did not feel safe. There were also supposed to be commemorative tokens for the first 100 customers, but because there was no formal place to line up and no signage, it ended up being whoever could find the booth, run, and cut in line the fastest. Definitely not the most well-managed opening, especially for kids who had been waiting since 6 a.m. Overall, the stops and stations are nice, and it's a smooth ride, but Line 6 is far from what was promised and what's currently being marketed. A lot of issues can be fixed by implementing signal priority, allowing operators to get more comfortable, and if needed, ordering more trams, which can all really unlock the full potential that was spent on the project. I've got to run to an exam, but stay tuned for a look at Montreal's transit expansion soon, and thanks for watching.